In this video, we'll take a look at the key attribute and why it is important when rendering lists of components in React applications. Let's begin. When working with lists, some of the most common operations include adding, removing items, editing, and sorting lists by a particular property. We've already learned that React enables declarative programming that keeps your UI elements in sync with your data. This also means that whenever you update your list data, React uses its reconciliation algorithm to track and update your interface. This is where the key attribute comes into the picture. You've seen me use this attribute when using the map function to render lists of elements or React components. But what is the significance of the key attribute? Let's find out. When React renders multiple instances of elements or components, it needs to keep track of each rendered element with its data source. On the left, we have an array of objects, and on the right, we have corresponding components that this array produces on the UI. Typically, when you add an element at the end of such a list, React will easily add an instance without touching the rest of the elements. But what if we add an element at the top? In this case, and in the absence of tracking, React will re-render all the elements to generate a fresh UI. Ideally, React could have just moved the elements and inserted a new one at the beginning. But since there was no correlation between data and the corresponding nodes, the entire list is recomputed and re-rendered. On the other hand, if tracking keys are present, React is able to correlate data with the corresponding nodes. In this case, when a new item is added to the list, React sees that it can repurpose the rest of the nodes and it just adds a new component instance and repositions the rest without modifying or mutating them. This massively improves efficiency, as you can imagine, and prevents unpredictable issues. The key attribute requires a string value which must be unique for every item in the collection. Usually, most datasets have some sort of an ID or attribute which is unique, such as product ID, employee ID, or even the person's email address if the record isn't going to be duplicated within the collection. Let's examine the key attribute by way of an example. Download, extract, and install dependencies for the project available on this link. This app offers you a list of products listed with their individual prices. You can select a product from this list and use the Add to Cart button to add them to a cart, which then gets displayed in the gray area below. At the bottom, you get to see the total cost of your cart. In our app component here, we have two state variables. The products array is populated with products from a service called getProducts. Once again, we are using the component didMount function to query the service and populate the products array. This is used to populate the drop-down list in the UI. When the user clicks on the Add to Cart button, an object describing the product with base quantity set to 1 is added to the cart array. If you look at the render method here, we are rendering the add product component where we are passing in an array of products to render the drop-down menu. We are also binding the add prop to the add product function, which we'll see in a bit. Below the add product component is the products component, which renders the contents of our cart and allows us to update the quantity of each product. Finally, we have a section at the bottom which displays the total cost of products in the cart using a function known as getTotals. The add product function here receives an object with the product ID, name, and cost from the add product component when the user presses the Add to Cart button. This function then checks to see if the product is already present in the cart array. If that is so, the user receives an alert stating that the product is already in the cart. If the product is not in the cart, then we simply prepend the new item to the cart array, adding a property named QTY, which is short for quantity. We also have the update quantity function, which updates the quantity of products based on their ID and removes the product if the quantity is set to 0. Finally, the getTotals simply computes the total cost of all products in the cart. Now, the products component is where we need to focus in this example. This component receives the contents of the cart array in a prop named data. This array is then iterated through using a map function, and instances of the product component are rendered. These instances get an object each describing the product. The product component also includes an input tag with the default value property set to 1. This is used to display the quantity of the product. Changing this input field causes the quantity to be updated as this value flows upstream using the update prop back to the app component. At the moment, we have not implemented the key attribute. So the moment we add an item to the cart, React throws up this warning on the browser's console indicating the absence of the key prop. Now, let's see what happens when the key attribute is absent. I'm going to first add a few products like so. Then I'll set the quantity of the Skull Candy headphones to 5. Consequently, its cost updates and so does the total cost of the items in the cart. This appears to be working fine. Now watch what happens when I add another product. Let's add Netgear Nighthawk. Notice how the quantity box has shifted places, or so it seems. Instead of 5 units of Skull Candy 385 headphones, we seem to be showing 5 items of the WD Blue internal drive. And yet the cost of Skull Candy reflects a quantity of 5 units, whereas the WD Blue drive is seemingly 1 unit. I should mention here that form elements come with a built-in state, which is why binding their value to their corresponding item in the state is recommended, a practice we'll investigate in detail later. So, what seems to be going wrong here? As you add elements to the top of the array, the rest of the elements are shifted down. When the key attribute is not set, React defaults to the index number of the item, which it assumes internally as the key, all the while throwing a warning for you to set the prop specifically. At the beginning, when we added the products, the Skull Candy headphones internally carried an index value of 1. Now when we add an item at the top, the elements in the array shift position. Consequently, the index value also shifts because they're based on the number of items in the array and are never unique. So now, at index number 1, we no longer have Skull Candy 385, but instead we've got WD Blue internal drive. React in this case assumes that the component at index 1 is the same as before and hence tries to keep things as they were. It does understand that the text contents have changed, such as the name, cost, and total cost, but it fails to reconcile the quantity input field and hence keeps it in place. Let's see this again. I'll update the quantity of Netgear Nighthawk and I'll add another product at the top. Once again, the products shift, but the quantity input field is no longer in sync with their corresponding product listings. To prove my point that React uses the index internally when the key is not set, we'll now explicitly set the key attribute to the index as provided by the map function. Notice how the warning on the console goes away because React trusts your judgment in setting unique values to this prop. Once again, I'll add a few products, update the quantity, and add more products, and you'll notice the problem still persists, exactly as what it was before. So, in a nutshell, never set the key prop to the index value of elements in the array. They are likely to cause all sorts of odd behavior in your application. This is because the value of the index is never consistent and changes as the contents of the array change over time. This means it cannot guarantee the position of an element in the list. What we need is a unique and persistent value for the key that never changes and correlates to the item being rendered. The data that we are getting here provides us with a string field called ID, which I'll set now. Once again, I'll add a couple of products and we'll update the quantity. Now, if we add more items to the cart, you'll notice the quantity input boxes stick to the product in question and render at the correct place. So, unique string values for the key prop are mandatory when rendering lists of child elements or components in React. If your dataset doesn't provide with such properties, then I recommend using the UUID or short ID packages from NPM to add such IDs before they are rendered in a React application. Having said this, there are cases where it is perfectly fine to use the index value for the key prop. For instance, if your list is static and won't be modified, rearranged, or sorted in any way, then the index number from the array is perfectly valid and safe for use as the key. As an example, you may want to display a static data set such as a gallery of images and captions that comes through an API but never gets updated in real time in the React application. But when rendering dynamic lists that would be modified over time, you must implement unique string keys when rendering lists. While React's reconciliation algorithm is smart and optimized, it does need our help to work correctly. The key attribute helps React perform optimal updates when rendering lists. In the next video, we'll take a look at fragments. Intrigued? Let's get to it.